as of right now, it's on music visualizing mode. So hopefully, by me talking, it's lighting up in different colors because it has a speaker built in that is actually taking the sound waves that I'm producing and making different light patterns with it. This is a kit that you can make for yourself, and it does all kinds of different stuff. And there's an application you can download for it that you can actually do different stuff with it. And if you mess with the application, there's challenges and stuff that you can complete and unlock additional functionality with this. It's not just a music visualizer or just a pretty color thing. It also has some games built in that you can play, that you can go through and choose which one you want to play. So yeah, this one's pretty fun. I enjoyed switching it there messing with it. Do you have any questions about it, or do you want to mess with it? Any questions about any of my ones? Alright, so this one is Q. He is John Cleese in a robot.
Excellent. I am back on time.
So what Q does is he is not only semi-autonomous, but he has all kinds of different games and stuff that he'll play with people. This in front here is more or less like a collision detector. So if he's driving around doing his own thing, or if you're like programming him to do something and like drive around, he'll actually be able to sense whether or not he's going to run into anything and actually drive himself out of the way. He also plays a ton of games and such.
Right now. Alright.
So,
It seems you like to push other buttons there. See if you can push mine. Instructions. Like I said before, it's successful sequences win.
This little creature here, this is called a Kamigami. So what it is it's technically like a plastic card, but they say it's an origami robot. So you assemble it and you put it all together, and then you can download an application to hook up to it. And once you do that, you can actually drive it around. Like, it's got feet and everything, and it'll run around. And through the application, if you have multiple of them, you'll actually be able to like battle them. Like it has a mode that you can like shoot lasers and stuff. But it's a fun little like insect robot you can mess with. This one, we don't really have a demo going for it, but it's a full 360-degree panoramic camera. So you hook it up to your phone or whatever you want, and you can either set it to take a picture or take video. It's got two lenses on either side, and they're pretty, fish pulled out. And then you set the whole thing up, you hit the button and start recording or take a picture. You can actually have it set up for VR mode. So like if you have it going and you have a VR headset, you can actually like look around even if you're not in the same room as the camera. Yeah, this one's pretty fun, but we haven't gotten it properly working. I suppose last but not least, the tried and true. This is a little Polaroid camera. So this is proper Polaroid, you have film in the back here, and then once you have it turned on and you have your exposure settings set just right, you can actually take a picture, and it'll print out on the side here, and then it takes maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes to dry, but then once this starts drying, it'll actually turn out pretty well. What did they do with them? I guess they took the other pictures. But once it starts coming up, you'll be able to actually just have a physical copy of your picture that you took. You can do all kinds of different tricks with it, like it lets you double expose, you can change like the exposure distance on it, or the focal distance. It's a neat little camera. But yeah, that's. Oh, I do have one other one, but we don't have it. You need it to be plugged in order for it to work. It's actually 3D printing. So if you were to, say if I were to plug it in and insert one of these like wax sticks and be able to press it to the paper and actually make, it's almost like a gel pen taken to the extreme. You can actually like get it to dry and make a 3D shape with it. So I can like write my name with it, and so long as it's solid enough and it's not gonna break when I take it off, once it's dried, I can take my name off of the paper and I'll just have it. I know it's advertised as such, but I've seen people, you can make like little towers, or you can make like a little stick figure thing that you can take up off the paper and mess around with. You can do some pretty interesting stuff with this. So, oh, the other one. Unfortunately, again, I don't have a demo for it, but if you have an Apple device, you can use this one. This one is a similar kind of light wall. Not the right term, but similar little light grid. But I believe this also has an actual like touch sensor built into it. So if you were to have it hooked up to your device, you'd be able to like tap on it, and not only would it light up wherever you tapped, but it would also actually feed that back into the application. Kind of use it as like a little drum pad. Otherwise, I know one of the features it touts on the box is if you have it hooked up to any sort of music source, like if you're playing music on your phone or something like that, it'll actually give you a visualizer on this thing. So like all the bars and people and that stuff, and then you do it to whatever music you have playing. So it's a fun little light pad. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have over here.
How's it going? First thing I'm going to demonstrate, I'll start up here. This is a Stranger Things board. It was programmed using Arduino. We reset it so it goes off. Start, and it spells out certain messages as it goes through there. And it was just a simple program using Arduino, and then I also used the online editor, so I didn't even need to install any software, and adapted a program that I had found with it. And then below that is a board I made as a billboard for myself, and I was teaching my students how to use LEDs. I refer to LEDs as nerd glitter, and in doing that, I was just wiring the LEDs live with the students as we were making it. So just use it because it's fun and flashy and gets attention. Here is an example of a 3D printed project that uses reclaimed parts. So this was a Christmas decoration, and if it was brighter out, it would be off completely. But as you get closer, you'll notice the light gets dimmer, and as there's more light added to it. An example would be if I was to shine my flashlight on it, it'll turn off. You can see that it goes off, and then as I move away, the blue light comes back on and it gets louder, it gets brighter. So ideally, if this was done better, you would hold your hand up to it and it would light up. And that's the example of what it was. It works outdoors really well. This was another 3D printed project that we had to make an arc reactor. You put a 9-volt battery in here, and you can wear this, and it will light up, and then you can switch it on and off with a power pack over here. Now this is more mechanical engineering. I tried to put every concept from mechanical engineering into what I was building here. We have a rack and pinion right here, which is similar to what you would use in a steering wheel for turning a car left and right. We have a lead screw, which again, I find that car analogies work great. So if you had to crank the windows up or down in a car, you would use the lead screw here. And then we have a simple gear train. I have a claw. That's just for fun because claws are neat. And then, so the simple gear train comes through. I'll go from the output back. So this thing starts flapping when we go back to the bevel gear, which turns the power 90 degrees, goes through to here to the simple gear train, and then up this pair of universal joints like this right here. A universal joint is something you'd find within like a monster truck or in cars, things like that. Now if we turn it around, the universal joints come through here. They come through here to a chain drive, similar to you'd find on a bicycle. This is a simple gear train with an idler that I use to demonstrate gear ratios. The point being that the middle gear, it doesn't matter how big it is, the small gears will output the same way. And then up here is a second motor going to a worm and wheel drive that outputs from the worm and wheel. It'll output to the cam and follower. Now the only thing that's not shown here that I usually build into this is a crank and slider, which is supposed to be built right here, but I was working on it last night and it was fine, and then I added some more stuff to it and then it broke. So that's one of the problems when you start building things. And then all of this is monitored through here. So I use sensors, 2 analog sensors. I have a light sensor and a potentiometer, and I teach kids to program using these. Right now, if I restart the robot and cover the light sensor, it won't work until I take my hand off of it. And then I also have 2 digital sensors, a push button and a limit switch. So right now, if I hit the push button, everything will run. So. Thanks, John. The one that actually works. And I'll do it again so you can see the claw work. The claw will hold and then the claw. You can see that in the end, it all works together, right down to the cannon follower you have here. As it goes around, it'll continue to go up until it drops, each one doing its thing. And the cannon follower goes slow because the worm and wheel on the other side creates a very slow transmission of energy. So even though this is going very fast, you can see that the gear ratio on the worm and wheel output's very slow. And all of that was done through some basic programming that I have the students do, and this tests out all the mechanical concepts. Now, if you'll follow me over here, I have a handful of different, hold on, let me grab something for it. I have a handful of different objects. So here, we have a cooperative video game using a makey board and some copper tape and wires. Now, to play the game, you can't just play by yourself because I put the right side way over here, and I put the jump over here, which makes it very difficult to play the game. The idea is to learn about electricity concepts as you have to hit the ground wire and then the button you're going to press. So even though I'm hitting the ground wire here, I can hit other buttons and it'll work. And then it's programmable that way. Here is an example of how I've used Raspberry Pis. For example, this one right here has been turned into a photo booth. I made it its own tablet. I included a camera into it, and all of it's being run off of a phone battery. And then I have the Raspberry Pi here, which I've turned into a portable video game system. You can actually see the Raspberry Pi and the screen in the back of the box itself. Now both of these, 2 computers are being run off of one phone battery. And And doing that, I programmed in my own games to play with it. And then the same idea for the Raspberry Pi video game system. I made another one, except I 3D printed it to have its own, to make it look like a Nintendo Classic. So that was one of my, when I found the design, all the designs for the 3D printing I found online through spaces like Thingiverse and other maker spaces like that. Any other questions?